happened to me, that's what we all want to think. Brain injuries can and do happen, especially if you drive a car. Who's going to make your decisions for you? If you think it's your neighbor or your girlfriend, or in some cases even your spouse, you better think again. What you're about to see is how to create one of the most powerful documents there is. It's called a durable power of attorney. And if you've never heard of one, that's okay. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you how to create yours for free. Hi, I'm James Land, former San Francisco paramedic, a hospice volunteer for the past decade, and the founder of GoGracefully.com, a business dedicated to helping you live and die joyfully. And what we're about to do is something very important. It's called making a durable power of attorney, one of the most powerful and helpful documents you can have in a time in your life when you don't need any more headaches than you already have. Before we get into that though, please take a minute and subscribe. And be sure to hit the notification bell because we're going to be covering all the estate planning documents in this series. So by the time you're done watching a few more videos, you'll have all that paperwork done that you've wanted to complete for some time. And if you have parents or a family member that needs this, you'll be able to do it now too and help them as well. All right, so let's get into it. In the description below, at the very top, you'll find a link to rocketlawyer.com where you can create this document yourself. So why don't you open that in another tab and we'll do it together. And by the end of this presentation, you'll have your durable power of attorney. Alrighty, so now you should be looking at something like this. And the first thing you're going to want to do is select the state that you're going to create this in. And I live here in Hawaii, so I'm going to select Hawaii. And then we're going to go make document. So who is this document being created for? Well, it's being created for you. Unless you're creating it for someone you know and love. So fill that in. I've filled it in for myself. Oh, and I guess before we get going here, I do need to say one more thing that's very important. What that is I am not an attorney. I am not a physician. I am not giving legal or medical advice at all. What I'm hopefully doing today is showing you how easy it is to make these documents by giving you an example of how I created them. All right, let's get back to it. So fill in your personal information here and hit continue. The next question is, where will it be signed? The most common mistake people make here is putting the country they live instead of the county. So I live in the state of Hawaii, but I also live in Hawaii County. So whatever county you live in, put it there. Hit continue. And then it asks who you will appoint as your agent. Now, most people choose a sole agent. And the reason they do is because it allows the agent to make the decisions without having to consult or meet and confer with someone else. So if it's your decision to have co-agents, then you would check co-agents here. I prefer to have someone making my decisions by themselves where they do not have to get the input or potentially get in an argument with someone else. So I choose sole agent. Then you name that person. Here I've named them, my agent, with their address, phone number. There's an important box here at the bottom that says, check here if the agent is your spouse. So I checked that just so you could see what would happen as we go along. And then hit continue. Do you want to appoint a person to serve as an agent, the successor agent, if your agent can't serve? This is basically a backup agent. And in this case, I chose yes. And here I listed them. My successor agent with their address and their phone number. Next, do you want this power of attorney to replace any prior powers of attorney that you have created? So I chose no because I did not have any. But if you've created some in the past, then you would check yes, and then it would go on to ask you which ones it would be replacing. Will any prior healthcare power of attorneys remain in effect? Now, a healthcare power of attorney is different from what we're creating here today. What we're creating here today is a document that deals with your financial instruments, not your healthcare. The healthcare power of attorney, sometimes called a living will, deals with how you want to be treated in a medical environment. and that is the subject of another video. If you have a healthcare power of attorney that you want to remain in effect, select yes and continue. Do you want your agent to have access to your medical records? I chose yes. I'm of a belief system that I don't want to restrict my agent in any way, so I always give my agent, if they're a trustworthy person, full access to everything. So in this case, I'm giving my agent access to my medical records, and specifically, medical records could relate to financial decisions. So that's why I chose yes. Do you want your agent to act on your behalf in all situations or only in specific situations? I chose all. If you start choosing specific situations, you're going to have to delineate them. Will your agent be authorized to hire business professionals to help with duties? These are people like lawyers and accountants. I chose yes. Will your agent be authorized to manage or operate any business that you own? Well, again, if my agent is conducting my financial affairs, I would want them to be able to manage and conduct my business affairs. So I chose yes. What residence of yours may your agent mortgage or sell? I chose any of my present or future residences. Again, if my agent is in a situation where maybe medical bills need to be paid or something like that, I want to give my agent full discretion, including to sell my house. Who will be appointed as a substitute agent to handle your real estate? This question results from having checked the box that says, my spouse is my primary agent. So this says, in case your spouse is restricted from selling your residence. In some states or in some situations, that might become the situation. So it's best to insert a substitute agent at this place right here. Will your agent have the power to change the beneficiaries on your account? I chose no, because just because I have become mentally incapacitated doesn't mean I want my agent to change who's going to receive a financial benefit in the event that I die or something happens to me. So I did not want my agent to be able to change that. I wanted to specify who gets the benefits of my estate. Are you currently a fiduciary or a trustee? I am not, but if you are, you would know that and you would select yes here. Will your agent be allowed to make gifts on your behalf? I chose yes here, and this is why. If my agent needs to help put one of my children through private school or something like that, or perhaps he wants to help somebody else that I've shown a pattern of helping in the past, my agent has the ability to do that by authorizing here. So I chose yes. Do you want to appoint a substitute agent for the sole purpose of making gifts to your agent? So in most cases, your agent will not be able to give themselves a gift. But if you think that it would be in the scope of your estate planning to want to give your agent a gift, then you would appoint a substitute agent here. I don't anticipate that happening, so I chose no. Will your agent have the authority to use your assets to provide for any person to whom you have an obligation to support? These are situations where you have minor children or spousal support or something like this. It's very important that you authorize your agent to do this. Otherwise, you might get into trouble with the legal system, or you would need to have something else set up in place to provide for that circumstance. All right, will your agent be allowed to transfer assets into your revocable trust? We're not going to go into what a revocable trust is in this video, but a future video will address that. I'm going to choose yes here because it's an important power that we give to our agent, in my opinion. So we'll just leave it at that. If you don't have a trust or are not planning on setting one up, then choose no. Will your agent be allowed to use your assets to fund any trust that was not created by you? So if you have a history of funding a trust that was not created, you might want to give your agent that authority. In my circumstance, that is not the case. So I chose no. Will your agent be allowed to manage a trust on your behalf? Again, I am not in the business of managing trusts, so I'm not going to give my agent that authority. If you have been in that situation, then you would know that, and of course you would check yes. Will your agent be allowed to refuse any inheritance you might receive? Well, the fine print on this one says the power to refuse or disclaim any inheritance you might receive provides your agent with flexibility regarding estate planning for you. It is recommended that this power be granted. Now, recommended is recommended by Rocket Lawyer. I did a little private research on this one myself, and I agreed with that, and it seemed logical given certain financial situations that could occur in estate planning. So I chose yes. Oh, and this brings up another good point here. You'll see this little question mark down here where it says need help with this question. If you click on that, it brings up another little window that tells you more details that you can go into and study yourself. Will your agent be authorized to protect any third party who accepts and acts under this document? I chose yes, and the reason for this, in my opinion, is if your agent hires an attorney and you've chosen no here, there's a lot of attorneys who will not work with your agent because they are not protected under the documents that the agent is using to act on your behalf. So I chose yes to give my agent more leeway in working with third parties. Will your agent be entitled to receive compensation for services performed in connection with this power of attorney? This probably depends on the complication of your estate. So if your estate is rather simple, you could probably check no. I chose yes because I figured my agent is a reasonable person. So if he or she needs compensation, then I think they should be entitled to it. And this next question, will they be entitled to reimbursement for expenses? I chose yes. Of course they should be entitled to reimburse themselves for managing your affairs if they have to drive somewhere or pay a toll or hire somebody. So of course they should be reimbursed. So I chose yes. Would you like to include digital assets in your power of attorney? Okay. By checking yes, this opens up a whole can of worms, but if you do have digital assets, it's very important you check yes. And at gogracefully.com, we have figured out a way to help you with this, which I'll go into right now. So in this example, I'm choosing yes, but if you have no digital assets, you can choose no and skip ahead in this YouTube video to where we take up. But we're going to go into digital assets briefly now. Put a check mark next to the digital assets you own and then hit continue. And at this point, it will ask you what those digital assets are. So what I have done here is I have listed all my digital assets are listed in a document titled Security Journal. So if you look in the description of this YouTube video, you will see another link where you can download for free a document called the Security Journal. And that document will help you plan all of your digital assets and keep them secure to where you're not putting information on a server like this one here and revealing your username and your password, which they're asking for. So in my case, I list all my digital assets are in a security journal. Where are they located? Well, they're in a fireproof safe. My power of attorney would know exactly where they are, as does my executor of my estate. So then you just go through each of your assets and you can add them here. You can add another asset. And in each one, you're just basically going to continue listing the security journal. So what is the email account? See the security journal. Go on to the next category. Add, if you have more than one email account, you'd add it there. Then what is the social networking account? See security journal. So this pattern just keeps up. And of course, you would allow your durable power of attorney to know exactly where your security journal is kept, and all of the codes and usernames would be listed in that security journal. So we'll just move right ahead now until we've completed this section of digital assets, where they begin asking a few final questions. Who will be appointed as the digital agent to manage your digital assets? And in this case, I'm choosing the same person. Now, if you have a power of attorney that you've appointed as your agent who is not savvy on the digital asset front, you might appoint a sole digital agent. This would be a person who is more familiar with how to navigate and manage digital accounts. In my case, my agent is savvy, so I'm choosing the same agent. Will your spouse be prohibited from serving as digital agent if you become legally separated or divorced? So in this case, if I'm separated or divorced, then I do not want my spouse serving as my digital agent. Do you want to make this document a durable power of attorney? Well, usually the whole point in making this document is to create a durable power of attorney, and this is something that remains in effect when you become disabled or lack mental competence. It says that right here. When will this power of attorney become effective? In most cases, people choose this third button down here. Upon certification by a physician that you are disabled and lack mental competence. This is also known as a springing power of attorney. Next, we see when will this power of attorney terminate? Most likely, when we create this document, it terminates upon our death. So if two physicians have decided that we are mentally incapable of making our own decisions, the power of attorney springs into effect, remains in effect until we die. All right, you've just completed your durable power of attorney, one of several important estate planning documents that we're going to teach you how to create over the next few videos. So if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, which will tell you when the next videos come out so you can continue this document planning. Now, a few words on Rocket Lawyer. Rocket Lawyer is an excellent service. You can actually join for free for up to 7 days. There is an added benefit for joining Rocket Lawyer, as you can see for their monthly subscription fee of $40, $39.99. You can make unlimited free documents. You can talk to an attorney for free. You can ask legal questions. You get a free 30-minute consultation on every new legal matter that comes up. And you even have up to a 40% discount if you need the services of an attorney. There's also some business benefits that come along with it too. So even if it took you a month for $40, you get all of your end-of-life documents done, and you get the benefits of asking an attorney a question. It's really a super deal. Why don't you guys do me a favor? If you like the services that you've received from Rocket Lawyer by using this information today, leave me a comment in the comments section so I can see how you feel about Rocket Lawyer, because I've really enjoyed their services and can't help but refer people to them. I've been a member now for several years, and I think it's ethical to disclose to you that I do get a portion of income from Rocket Lawyer when you use their services as a referral from me, but that doesn't change the fact that I think they're a great service. All right, now we have our power of attorney in place. This is good. There's a handful of other legal documents that I'm going to teach you how to make in upcoming videos, and you can have all these documents done in a short amount of time. These are so important. If you're not making them for yourself and you have kids, that's probably a big mistake. If you have parents getting up there in age and they haven't done this, you can help them out. Okay, that'll do it. In alignment with Go Gracefully's mission, may you live and die joyfully. Aloha from the Big Island.